a SQA professional, and I'm interested in transitioning to a DevOps role. I'm wondering if anyone here has made a similar transition and could share what tools and programming language they had to learn in order to upskill, and what was most challenging part of the transition. Any advice or tips would be greatly appreciated. So, um, I did not transition to DevOps, believe it or not, as much as infrastructure stuff that you see that I do. I did not transition to DevOps. I am still a proud QA engineer and love it. All right. But I will say that I am DevOps adjacent. What do I mean by DevOps adjacent? When I was working at a smaller company, uh, I was like the senior QA engineer, and I wouldn't say I wasn't the only. I did have some contractors work with me, right? But I was like facilitating most of the things, and we had we had issues with our what do we call that team? It was supposed to be the team that deployed stuff for us. And the project that we're working on was super critical. So um we started doing it on the team ourselves, and then I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just do it myself. And I had to go through the process of deployments and SSHing into different servers around, like some of them in Japan, and running the deployment script, having the YAML configuration files and all that stuff, right? So I would say that I'm DevOps adjacent. I'm also not gonna say well versed, but I am good enough in Docker to take care of the stuff I need for automation. I can handle AWS. I One of my goals is to be a AWS solutions architect, get that certification. Uh, and I just talked about certifications, right? But I do want to get like I think that one is very important, right? Um, so and I work closely with people who do DevOps. The thing is with DevOps, right? Nowadays, and this is something that was inevitable to happen, right? Nowadays, a lot of the DevOps work is being integrated into the software engineering things, right? So, for instance, software engineers will be working on AWS, setting up like Route 53, EC2 instances, like all that infrastructure type work. To me, a lot of the infrastructure work is is DevOps type work, but the software engineers are learning it too. So now with the software engineers getting some type of DevOps understanding or training, what does that do to the DevOps position in particular? So now I'm sure that there's companies that they have to separate what the software engineers do between what the DevOps do and the releases and everything like that. But I think that it's going to be trending where the software engineers are the ones who handle most of that, right? I'm trying to think. Maybe they might need the DevOps for like the production environments, and then they let the software engineers and the QA engineers take care of it in the QA and staging environments. That might be it, but I don't know. I don't know how the big of demand that would be. I know back a few years ago there was a high demand for DevOps. Um, but the tools that you would need would so I'll say Docker, of course, Kubernetes, you would need like if you're gonna do DevOps, you gotta be AWS solutions like something, architect, specialist, whatever. But you need to get familiar with AWS. Take a course on AWS to get and here's the thing, right? The AWS platform is huge. It's over like 30 different types of things you can do in there, there's the EC2, there's the Route 53, there's the security groups. I think the security groups are part of the EC2, right? But there's the S3, there's the lambdas, there's the I can't even think of all the different things that there are, but there's so many different things at AWS, and with all of that, and that's just AWS, right? There's also Google's developer cloud. There's Microsoft Azure. So many. So then, and that's the thing. Based on the job that you would be applying for, you're going to have. All right. So based on the job that you're applying for, like some jobs are gonna be AWS, which is probably the most popular. But there's some jobs that, because of the nature of their work, they have to use Microsoft for contractual or regulatory reasons. So they're in the Microsoft Azure side of things. Or I don't see many companies using the Google Cloud platform yet, but that I mean, at some point, I suppose they will be. But you need to learn those for like the coding part of it, right? There's like I've seen this one, but I haven't really used it myself. But there's like Ansible for releases. There's Terraform. You know what I mean? There's Terraform where that one is like infrastructure as code, because heavy on the DevOps is infrastructure, and you're gonna need to learn like Unix, Linux systems, how to shell scripting, connecting to like the terminal to set up things through the terminal, because a lot of times in these DevOps type environments, there's no UI, there's no GUI. And if you're not familiar to working within a terminal, that's going to be a learning curve. Knowing all the commands that you need to do, a lot of Googling. So I would say, like, from what I can think of, from what I've seen, from the things that I use when I'm doing DevOps type work, DevOps adjacent work, that's what it is. I know with the crew that I work with, Terraform is heavy on there, and they're writing code to configure their Terraform, and it's going in there, tagging different AWS resources. It's spinning up, scaling up EC2 instances, all that type of stuff. So those are the things that you're gonna have to know to make that transition. And especially if you want to, like, 'cause here's the thing: if you're trying to get in there from a junior, I don't know if you're a senior QA, but I don't know what type of transition you're trying to make, but those are the things that you need to know. It's a lot. It's a lot. And for me, like, as QA, I've been able to dip and dabble in a lot of those things, but they're enough for me to set up my QA infrastructure for what I need, but it's not to be able to support a whole organization, if you know what I mean. I mean, I could learn it, but why would I, like, I will learn it, but why would I leave this amazing field of doing QA engineering where I engineer solutions for my customers and my company and my teammates, you know? Yeah, so that's my answer to that. I think it's definitely possible transition. I'm gonna add to the list as well to me add a comment to this so that we could review DevOps jobs. All right, put that in there so we can review DevOps jobs, and I think it's good, like, because this channel is not about QA testing, about QA engineering. That's what I talk about the most because that's like my field of expertise. But it's about the tech industry as a whole, and I am confident that I can help anyone get into any field in the tech industry, because the blueprint is the same. The route that you take to get to that field might be a little bit different, but the blueprint stays the same. And I have the blueprint. All right, I have the blueprint.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.